This is lesson 2.3. We're going to use slope-intercept form to graph equations of lines and then to write the equations given information. So we're going to start with Mr. Slope Guy. Mr. Slope Guy, when the line is going this direction, this is positive slope. So you can see his eye is a plus sign. If the line is going this direction, this is negative slope. As you can see, his eye is a negative sign. We drop down here to the mouth. When the mouth goes straight across, you can see zeros on both ends. That is zero slope. And on his nose, when you have a vertical line, when it goes up and down, this is considered undefined slope. Okay, so let's look at the equation for slope-intercept form. This is y equals mx plus b. The m is slope. And slope can be change in y over change in x. It can be rise over run. Sometimes you even see it as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's however you learn slope. X is your independent variable, so if you have a table of x and y values, you substitute in the x and you can find the y. So that's your independent variable. And then b plus b is your y-intercept. So here's the y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis. So you can see it crosses at 2. So in this situation, the y-intercept is 0, 2. So let's use this information to graph the equation of this line. So we're going to start with the y-intercept. So start with the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is always y equals mx plus b. It's the constant. And our constant is 0, 1. Then we look at our slope. Our slope is 2. It's 2 over 1 because we always need to make it a fraction. So this is a positive slope. It's going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2, up 2 over 1. You can always go down 2 backwards 1. Also. Okay, then we have this line, so let's start with the beginning again. We're going to start with our y-intercept, which is 0, 5. This has a negative slope, so it's a negative 3 over 4. That means it goes down 3 over 4, down 3 over 4, down 3 over 4. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can't go more than just 2 dots on that or we run out of graph. Okay, now we're going to look at writing the equations of a line based on given information. So this one says write the equation of the line that passes through 2, 1 and has a slope of 3. So we always start with y equals mx plus b. And we know that we need a slope and we need a y-intercept. Well, we're given the slope of 3 and it passes through the point 2, 1. Well, that's an x and that's a y. So we can take this information, the x, the y, and the m, and we can use that to solve for b. So if y is 1, m is 3, x is 2, we can solve for b. So 1 equals 6 plus b. Subtract 6 from both sides. So b is negative 5. Once you have that information, then you take the m and the b, you put it back into this equation. Y equals 3x plus b, but in this case it's a negative 5, so we can just say minus 5. Now it says to verify that the equation passes through the given points by graphing. So we are given 2, 1. So 2, 1 is right here. I'm going to change colors so we can make sure this happens. So to graph this, we're going to start at negative 5. It has a positive slope, and the slope is actually 3 over 1. So it goes up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. And I missed my dots when I graphed the line, but you can see that it passed right through that point. So we verified that we did it correctly. Okay, the next one says write the equation of the line that passes through each pair of points. So once again, y equals mx plus b. We need an m, we need a slope, we need a y-intercept, but we don't have slope given, and we don't have y-intercept given. So we're going to find the slope. We're going to do that by creating a table. So we're going to have an x and a y. Well, my first point is 3 on the x, 1 on the y. My second point is 2 on the x, 3 on the y. So we're going to use the change in y over the change in x to do this. So here's my y's. So we want change in y here. So from 1 to get to 3, you have to add 2. And from 3 to get to 2, you have to subtract 1. So this is my change in x. So change in y over change in x. Well, 2 over negative 1 is really just negative 2. 2 divided by negative 1. Now we have the same thing as last time. You can pick a point. So let's pick this first one. 3, 1. So that's an x, that's a y. Just like the last time. Substitute in the x, the y, and the m. 3 equals negative 2. Let's try that again. 1 equals negative 2 times 3 plus b. So 1 equals negative 6 plus b. Add 6 to both sides. B is 7. So to write our equation of the line, y equals mx plus b. This one says verify that the equation passes through the given points by graphing. So we have 3, 1, and we have 2, 3. So there are 2 points. So let's change the color of our line so we make sure that it actually works. So this one starts at 7 on the y. Now remember, it was negative 2 over 1. So it is downhill, so it's going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And it passes through the points that are given. Alright, same thing. We are given 2 points. We need a slope and a y-intercept. So we have y equals mx plus b, and we need to find slope. So let's make our table. We have 5, negative 8, and negative 7, 0. So we want the change in y. So negative 8 to 0 means that we've added 8. And we want the change in x. So to go from a positive 5 to a negative 7, you're going to have to subtract 12. And to get my slope, which is change in y over change in x, that's going to be 8 over negative 12. Well, 8 over negative 12, when you put it in your calculator, will reduce, because both of them are divisible by 4, to 2 over 3, negative 2/3. So pick a point. This time I'll pick the second one, because it doesn't matter which one you pick. So we're going to substitute in our y equals m times x plus b. So 0 equals 14 over 3 plus b. Subtract 14 over 3. So b is negative 14 over 3. You can also write negative 14 over 3 as negative 4 and 2/3 also. It's a little hard to read. Let's try that again. Negative 4 and 2/3. So the equation of my line is y equals m is negative 2/3 x minus 4 and 2/3. So this one's going to be a little yucky to graph, but we can still do it. So we need to verify that it passes through the points. So we go to 5, negative 8, right here. I'm dragging the pen tip a little bit. And then we have negative 7, 0, which would be right there. So now we want to start at negative 4 and 2/3. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2/3 of another one. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2/3 of another one. So about right there. So then it's a negative slope. It's going to go down 2 over 3. I don't know why I keep getting into that. Let's try that again. Down 2 over 3. Down 2 over 3, or up 2 backwards 3, up 2 backwards 3, and that takes us through both points. So that one also works. Okay, so this one says write the equation of the line that passes through 4, negative 7 with a slope of 1. So we need slope, which we have. We need a y-intercept, which we don't. So we have y equals mx plus b. We have a point, x, y. So negative 7 equals negative 1 times 4 plus b. Negative 7 equals negative 1 times 4 is negative 4 plus b. Add 4 to both sides, so negative 3 equals b. So my equation is y equals negative 1x, and negative 1 is invisible when it's before the x, plus a negative 3, so we can just write minus 3. So let's graph our point 4, 7. 6, 7. And then let's change the pen color and make sure that we go through the point. So we start at negative 3. It is a negative slope. It's going down 1 over 1. And it passes right through that point. So that one works. Okay, so here's a word problem. It says the table shows the number of domestic flights in the U.S. from 2004 to 2008. Write an equation that could be used to predict the number of flights if it continues to decrease at the same rate. So this is just like the tables that we set up before. We can do the change in y over the change in x to get our slope. We also have to find our y-intercept. So 9.97, you have to add 0.07 to it to get to 10.04. And from 2004, you have to add 1 to it to get to 2005. So change in y over change in x is 0.07 over 1. That's 0.07. And we need to pick a point. Well, let's just pick this first one. So that's 2004 for the x, 9.97 for the y. So we have y, we have y equals mx plus b, where y is 9.97, m is 0.07, x is 2004 plus b. Let's scoot that over so we're not to the other problem. Please no, I took part of the y with me. Okay, so 9.97, 0.07 times 2004 is 140.28 plus b. Subtract 140.28 from both sides, and you get negative 130.31 equals b. So negative 130.31. So to write my equation, y equals m is 0.07x plus a negative, so we'll just write minus 130.31. Okay, last example. It says 10 people from a local youth group went to Black Hills Whitewater Rafting Tour Company for a one-day rafting trip. The group paid $425 for 10 people. Write an equation to find the total cost C for P people. Well, we're still going to start with y equals mx plus b because that's what we know. We'll change it to C and P at the end. So we still need an m. We still need a b. Well, it says right here that this trip cost a guide fee plus $35 a person. Well, your slope, anytime it's per something, that's usually your slope. So our slope is 35. It also gives us a point. For 10 people, it costs $425. So there's an x and there's a y. So 425 equals 35 times 10 plus b. So 425 equals 350 plus b. And if we subtract 350 from both sides, b equals 75. So that would be y equals 35x plus 75, except that it told us that it wanted us to use C and P. So the cost is $35 per person plus the $75 guide fee. So this is our guide fee, our y-intercept. Now the last question is asking how much would it cost for 15 people. So now we have our equation. So 35 times the 15 people plus 75. So if you drop that in your calculator, it should cost $600. Okay, don't forget that on your homework assignment, on your practice problems, you need to do the odds. But you definitely want to make sure you do all, and it says to do all, but you definitely want to do all of the review problems to get ready for your next assessment.